Hi. If you're watching this, and I'm going to assume that you're either curious or you're interested in buying my book, The Battlefield of the Will, Why We Keep Doing Things We Don't Want to Do. And for the introduction, I'm going to ask you to use your imagination. And just imagine that you're out in your backyard on a warm summer day, and you're out in your swimming pool just relaxing, having a good time, just kind of floating along, when all of a sudden you notice these little white things bobbing up and down in the water around you. That seems kind of strange, so you look a little bit closer to see what they are. And that's when you realize that all these little white things are ping pong balls. Now it really seems strange. And you look over at one and you notice it's got a big black label on it. So you reach over to pick it up and you see the word envy. Not sure what to think of that. You put it back in the water. And you look over here and you notice another one with a label. This one's labeled selfishness. That doesn't sound too good. You kind of look around and you hope nobody can see, what it is that you're doing. And you start getting this uneasy feeling that this has got something to do with you. So you decide you've had enough drama for the day and you're going to get rid of all these ping pong balls, so you start gathering them up, except something gets your attention, and that's the fact that every single ping pong ball has got a label on it. Here's one that says appetite. Here's one that says pride. Here's one that says lustful thoughts and presumption and jealousy and anger, and on it goes. And that's when you make a realization. You realize that the label on each one of the ping pong balls represents one of your character defects. But you're a Christian and you want to live for the Lord. So you don't want all these character defects. You don't want to live a life that's controlled by anger and pride and controlled by appetite and so on. So you decide that you're going to work on your character defects until you can get rid of them. And you decide to start with envy, and you push it under the water so nobody can see it. Next, you decide to work on selfishness, and you push it under the water. Then it's appetite and jealousy and pride. And just when it starts to seem that you're getting control, one of them pops up over here and one of them pops up over there. And every time you reach over to get one to hide it again, put it under the water, another one pops up. Sooner or later, you realize no matter how hard you try, no matter how sincere you are, no matter what you do, nothing is going to keep all these ping pong balls underwater because they're too quick and they're too slippery and they're relentless. They never stop trying to be seen and recognized. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you tried, no matter how hard you worked, and no matter how sincere you were, that just like those ping pong balls, your character defects kept popping back up again whenever you grew tired, or you quit paying attention, or you relaxed your grip? Have you ever felt your character defects were relentless? Have you ever made a promise to God only to find that you were too weak to carry it out? What is it that keeps you and that keeps me from becoming super Christians? And I use the term super Christians because of something that happened once. One day I was at church, and a good friend of mine who had been fighting a 1.5-year long battle with cancer, he said to me, Virgil, I don't understand why with what I'm facing, because he knew he was about to die pretty soon. He said, I don't understand why I'm not a super Christian. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, again, he knew he was going to die soon. He says, it seems by now that I would have won victory in different areas. I feel like I'm still the same person I always have been. It's sad that my friend didn't understand what you're about to learn in this book. We're going to answer the question, what prevents us from becoming super Christians and getting rid of our character defects once and for all? We're going to look at a law that Paul talks about in the book of Romans, the 7th chapter. He refers to it as the law of sin. which he says is in our members. He also refers to it in chapter 8, verse 2, as the law of sin and death. But if you've ever wondered why it's hard to live according to your Christian beliefs, if you've ever needed relief from guilt, and if you're ready for some good news, then cheer up, because the Bible has answers. And once you understand these things and what it is that you're dealing with, then there's a lot of reason for hope. So I hope you get the book, The Battlefield of the Will, Why We Keep Doing the Things We Don't Want to Do, because it'll answer your questions and help you to get victory in areas that you may have been, that you're struggling with. Thanks a lot.